Hello. Welcome back to Alaoria. We are over here on Thistlemere and the Aralis. And today we are going to start building Thistlemere. Yay! So we did have a bit of a hiccup. My world corrupted during the recording of this episode. This is the second attempt. And my backup rolled the entire world back over a month. So yeah, it's been a bit hectic to get back to where we was, to where I can record this episode again. Luckily, because I am so rigorous with my schematics and things like that, I could just use Lightmatica to get back to where I was, so that's been really helpful actually. But yeah, crisis averted. We are back to where we need to be over here on Thistlemere. We've got a nice pretty starry night to kick off this episode with our first time lapse of the first building we are going to build here over in Thistlemere, which is a storage barn. So this is where all the farms are going to file into. So it makes sense to build that first, because everything then needs to be hooked up to this afterwards. So yeah, I'll see you back here after the time lapse. So here we are with a fully built storage barn, and what a nice storage barn it's turned out to be. So let's take a look. This is our first build in Thistlemere, as I said. It's supposed to be rustic, a bit overgrown. We have a bit of storage out back here, and down here is our nether portal that will connect to a future Nether Hub project, so that's something to look forward to. But this is pretty much all our redstone. So we've got our bubble columns here that take it up to the storage above, and then through here we have our item filters for all the crops that we're going to produce in Thistlemere, all set up nice and ready to go. And we also have wheat and beetroot seeds here, just in case we ever need them, because we are going to be planting crop fields. So it's nice to have the seeds for decorative purposes. So yeah, this is all our redstone hidden down here, away from everything. And then if we just go back up, we can take a look inside the barn. Trying to avoid spoilers. So in here we have Steve the dog, who's guarding our little barn, a little sleeping area. I'm currently keeping all the allays in here because I'm using the allays in the farms, which we'll see a little bit later on. It's got some storage, and then here is our storage for all our crops. So most have 10 double chests, which may seem like a lot, but it's honestly not, because as you can see with the pumpkins, this is already filling up. Sugarcane actually fills up pretty fast as well, and here, once these farms are actually running, this is just from what I had in storage back over on Isle Alaoria. I moved it over here, so the farms for these aren't even running yet, so you can imagine the chaos that's going to ensue with that. So the only ones that I've got 5 double chests is the honey bottles, because this is actually really slow in production. And I use this purely for redstone, so I didn't really think that I really needed 10 double chests, and the same with glowberries. Again, just 5 double chests instead of 10, but everything else has double the amount, and then we have our overflow on each side as well. If we come back here, we can see again, I'll just boop. We have again our item filters set up. That will then lead into all our storage or overflow once it's needed. And it's the same on this side as well. We've just got our item filters again. Oh yeah, I'm pretty happy with this build. Can't really see the view, but it does look out over the cliffs. But yeah, it's quite nice. And so every village or town, city, whatever we're going to build, will have its own theme, its own colours. And Thistlemere is cyan, just because most of it is prismarine, so I think that it works quite well. So the main colours here is the cyan. So that is the colours that represents Thistlemere, which is quite nice. I think it works quite well. It will also tie in with the Oralis when that is built over in the distance over there. But yeah, I'm quite happy with this. It turned out quite well. I've been breeding up villagers as well, because we also need them for the farms. But yeah, we've got a few custom trees. All the detailing and everything will come once all the buildings are actually in place. So then we know where the farms will go, where the pathways will be and things like that. So right now, the only place that's really detailed is back here. And that is because, well, we know that this area is finished. Nothing else is going to go there. So yeah, very happy. So next we are going to build up one of our farms. So I have got my schematics ready to go. So yes, the next farm that we are going to be doing is our beetroot farm. Let's slip into another time lapse of our beetroot farm, and I'll see you back here shortly. And there we go. We now have our first farmhouse. So let's take a look, shall we? So this is our beetroot farmhouse. Again, simple. The design matches and ties in with our barn. They all have a similar theme, just obviously different shapes and things like that. But yeah, this is our beetroot farmhouse overlooking, stood on top of this cliff here, with a nice view of the sea. I mean, most of them have sea views, let's be honest. We're on an island. So yeah, this is our beetroot farm. They are made for villagers to live in. They are all fully decorated interiors. So if we go upstairs here, we just have a nice little desk, and then we have 2 bedrooms again with our blue colours, and then we have an attic space with some storage, and then finally, where can our beetroot farm be? Well, I don't want the villagers to actually have access to our farms, so whilst I do want them living in these houses and being able to navigate Thistlemere so it's alive and the story is being told of this farming village, I don't want them to actually have access to the farms because they're only for us. So they're all hidden. So every single one of our farms will be hidden underground, and they'll all have bubble columns that transport everything via waterways back over to our main storage barn. So they'll all have this, and then if we come down here, so we've got red for beetroot, which is quite nice. Some of the bubble columns are just decorative just because I like the movement. There's not a lot of things in Minecraft, a lot of it is static, so I like having bits of movement in my builds. So this is quite nice. And then if we come around, we have our pods, as I'm calling them. So every single farm is pretty much identical in the way it's designed. So we have 2 villagers and a laze. So sometimes there'll be 2, sometimes there'll be 3, depending on what is produced in the farm. Obviously with the beetroots, seeds are also produced. So we've got 2 layers picking up our beetroots, and then we've got one little guy over there that just collects our seeds for us. It's quite nice. So our farmers have their pockets filled up with beetroot seeds, so they're unable to pick up any of the crops that they actually collect for us, which is why our relays are in there to do that for us. And then they just drop it over here into our hopper line that is connected to that note block that you can see there. So if we just go in here, you can see that there is lines coming off indicating to our relays that this is your note block and you deliver to these hoppers right there. So we have a constant signal that is being sent to the note blocks to signify to our relays that that is the drop-off point. So with beetroot, I didn't really need a lot of beetroot because mostly I just use it for decorative purposes. So we only have 4 pods, which all have 2 villagers and 3 layers in. And we also have our switches to turn off our note blocks. So if we go in here again, you can see that there's no longer a signal going to our relays. They get a little break and get to just hang out with our villagers. And our signal is turned off. So we do have a way to turn them on and off. Also really helps with lag if it gets to a point, or if we end up filling up our storage, which is a huge possibility because these farms are insane. We can just come in and turn it off whenever we need to. Over here we have a cycle, really. So all 4 pods feed into these 2 droppers, which then shoot it up and over and then gets sucked down into here, that feeds into this hopper line that then takes it out into the bubble column in the hall. So yeah. 1 minute, because I am still going around waiting for these things to oxidize. It's insane how long things take to oxidize in this game. So yeah, this is our 3rd pod. Again, another on and off switch for our relays. And then finally our 4th pod. So yeah, it is quite a nice little setup that we've got hidden down here. Like I said, everything gets fed into this one single dropper where everything gets shot up and over to our storage. If we go on over to our storage. There we go. And we go over to our beetroot, we can see that we've almost got 8 stacks of beetroot, and that farm hasn't been running all that long. Probably about 5-10 minutes before I started recording this episode, so yes, it's been doing very well in terms of our beetroot over there, and beetroot seeds, it produces insane amounts. For every 1 beetroot, I think it's like 2-3 beetroot seeds, so yes. our overflow down below will be coming in very handy. So yeah, we've got our first farmhouse built over there in the distance. It'll be nice once this area is fully saturated with all our farmhouses and the other buildings that we are going to be doing once we've got our farms in place. Because of all the redstone and the farms underneath, with the farms underneath, they all need to be built first because none of them can overlap or anything, so then the redstone doesn't get doesn't interfere with each other. So once the farmhouses are all in place, we can then work in our other builds in between our crop fields and start decorating and doing our pathways and things. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And our next batch of villagers are all ready to go and be transported to their pods. What a lovely life you guys will lead. We will have farmers that live above ground as well. The ones that are already locked in and fully traded with, these guys are all going to be living above land because these are going to be our farmers that we trade with. So yeah, it's all worked out fantastic, and hopefully next episode we'll have a few more builds to show you guys. I hope you have enjoyed today's episode and like the builds that we've done. I love the fireflies. But yeah, hopefully it gives you guys a little glimpse into what this area is going to look like once we've finished building everything up. But until next time, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like or comment below which one is your favourite so far and what you are most looking forward to seeing in the future. See you next time, guys. Goodbye.